fancy seeing you guys here. So we're on our little walk over from parking the car. We've got a nice 20-minute walk in the cold. Thanks, Danny, for coming so much. It's very cold this morning. It's like, what is it, 7 or 8 degrees right now? But it'll get up to a nice toasty 10 before we start, hopefully. But yeah, we're in Weymouth. All flipping ready to go, which is crazy. I'm feeling really good. I slept all right last night, got about 6 hours sleep. Breakfast down at an appropriate time. I got some nice electrolytes to keep me going. Bottles are ready to go on the bike. Everything else is pretty much there. Wetsuits in this bag. Yeah. I'll see you guys in a bit. It's good.
It does.
Right. Almost at the swim start. Got about... Don't even have a watch. I can't tell the time. No idea what time it is. No phone, no watch. So it must be about half an hour. I'm guessing it's about half an hour. I've got no time. No idea what time it is. So yeah, just gonna try and stay warm really until we start. It's a bit cold this morning.
Pretty morning though.
That's gorgeous. Yeah.
Any athletes requiring additional timing chips to swim past, anyone who needs to leave glass just before the rope arch.
Go Josh! Woo!
Ironman 70.3 Weymouth.
Yes! Come on Josh! Yes! Go Josh!
Good morning, guys. It is the day after half Ironman Weymouth. Yeah, I didn't have enough energy or really just the capacity to talk to the camera and to kind of fully formulate my thoughts after the race. So I've waited until this morning to give you all a little bit more information. So yeah, I've had time now to fully kind of collect my thoughts after the race, and so I think we'll kind of talk it through in chronological order, the build up to the race itself, and then afterwards and how I feel about my result. But yeah, it was an incredible weekend. It was amazing to have Danny with me all weekend to kind of help me out, get me there on time and make sure that everything went really smoothly, which it did. Managed to check in fine, rack the bike fine, put up the bags fine. It's the first time I've ever done that. So although it was a little bit of a learning experience, I found it pretty simple, and actually it worked really well on race day. Our Airbnb was just outside of Weymouth, so it was about a 15 to 20 minute drive into Weymouth on the morning of the race. So we aimed to get to Weymouth for around 5 AM, which was pretty much the perfect time. I think we had just enough time to get everything done without waiting around for ages at the start, which is something that I find really unpleasant. I was really nervous before starting the swim. Although I've done loads of triathlons before, something about stepping up the distance made me really nervous, and it's a much bigger event than anything I've ever done before, just number of people wise, and also the number of people supporting, which is going to be a theme. Starting the swim and coming down the beach and diving into the water was an amazing experience, but it was genuinely terrifying. While waiting for the guys to kind of drop their arms and let us go, the only thing that I could think was, don't fall over on the beach, don't fall over on the beach. It was my worst fear that I would just stack it going down what's quite a steep entry on the beach into the water, but I didn't. Got into the water and it was freezing cold to start with. After about 30 seconds, I felt absolutely fine. But those 30 seconds, I thought it was the coldest thing I've ever experienced in my life. But yeah, I warmed up really quickly on the swim and then thoroughly enjoyed it. Actually, I thought it was beautiful and the water was really nice and very clear, surprisingly, but also really still. There was barely any waves. And the sun kind of coming up across the water wasn't too bright where we couldn't see where we were going, but was bright enough so that it made it just an absolutely beautiful experience. And yeah, we definitely lucked out with the weather. It was absolutely gorgeous all day. I managed to navigate the swim really well. I definitely kind of made up some places there. And I'm really pleased with how it went, having not done a Ironman length open water swim before and having, oh God, I don't know, can't remember the last time I've swum in the sea for any serious amount of time. I'm really pleased with this. I know there are certain things that I can improve on here, but as far as sea long swim goes, I think I'm really pleased. I ended up swimming just over 28 minutes, putting myself 7th in my age group or 40th overall coming out of the swim. Now, I definitely didn't have the world's fastest T1, although I really did give it my all to run very fast from the swim exit to transition. However, once I was in transition and in the tent with the bags, I really tried to take my time and make sure that I was mentally ready and physically ready to get out on the bike. Normally, I leave my shoes on my bike and don't put socks on, but because this being my first one of this distance, I was like, take my time, I'm going to put my socks on, I'm going to put my shoes on sitting down, put my helmet on and go out to the bike with everything ready to go rather than trying to do a flying mount, simply because I didn't think the time lost was worth the risk of struggling to get my feet in the shoes, and I also wanted to use a pair of road shoes rather than a Velcro pair of triathlon shoes, simply because my triathlon shoes are plastic soled, my road shoes are carbon soled, and they fit me a bit better. They're much more comfortable for long distances, and so I thought that would be more beneficial than the time saved from doing the flying mount. And I'm really glad I did, because the shoes worked out perfectly. Having socks on was brilliant, it was super comfortable, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But yeah, onto the bike, and I felt pretty good actually on the bike, especially to start, but throughout all, I absolutely loved it. It's an incredible bike course, it really is. It's beautiful. You go from some wide A roads into kind of smaller lanes, you're flying along. It's not too hilly, although there are kind of 2 or 3 relatively large hills that it will take you a little bit of time to get over, but the rest of it is super rolling, super fast sections. There's some really nice, long, very straight downhill sections where you can really maintain a lot of speed. It's just absolutely gorgeous, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was one of the most incredible experiences I've had riding a bike, let alone racing on my bike. The moment I'll always remember is you're coming up and there's one last hill, you kind of round a corner and you can then see down into the valley where Weymouth sits. You can see the sea. It's like 5k from the end of the bike, and it's absolutely amazing. I was so happy, so thrilled at that point to be getting off the bike soon, and knowing it was all downhill just made the experience absolutely incredible, and I don't ever think I'll forget that moment. Overall on the bike, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Now, I wasn't aiming to do the bike portion of this Ironman really fast, because it's my first one. I mainly wanted to enjoy it and feel really strong on the run. So coming into T2, I still felt really strong. Overall then, on the bike, I came 9th in my age group in a time of 2 hours and 14 minutes, putting me 74th overall. T2 was a lot quicker for me overall, as I already had my socks on, so it was just a quick shoes off, helmet off, running shoes on, chuck things in the bag, grab some gels and go affair. Sunglasses still on my head. It made it really simple, straightforward, bag system was easy, and I'm really happy with how that went. And on the run, I felt pretty comfortable and pretty strong. It was absolutely incredible, both the course and the level of support. Running along the beachfront and then through the Weymouth town was just incredibly beautiful, and we got especially lucky again with the weather. It was just absolutely incredible to look over the bay with the sun still shining and shimmering off the water, to look across the beach, and then just the number of people out on the course supporting. There were so many places where there were 2 or 3 deep people on either side of you supporting you, and there was pretty much nowhere on the run course that you didn't have someone cheering for you. And this was incredibly motivating and made the event incredibly special and something that I'll never forget. My plan for the run was not to absolutely kill myself for the first 15 or 16k, just to make sure that I'm keeping it steady, keeping it within touching distance of where I wanted to run, and then being able to ramp it up for the last 5 or 6k depending on how I felt. But I really wanted to feel strong at the end of this one. Being my first one, I don't want to absolutely kill myself on the bike and the first half of the run and then feel absolutely terrible and have to walk the end of the half marathon. I wanted to feel strong throughout, and that's something that I definitely achieved in this case. I'm pretty confident that I could have gone at least a little bit faster on both the bike and the run. However, I'm not displeased with my times at all, and I thoroughly enjoyed it for my first one. It's made me want to come back and do so many more events of this distance, which I think is the thing that I really wanted to get out, especially having another one in a few days' time. So I managed to do the run in 1 hour 34 minutes, which is pretty close to a PB, about 5 minutes off a normal running PB, and obviously I'd done the bike beforehand. That put me 8th in my age group and 69th overall, meaning that I also ended up coming 8th in my age group and 69th overall, which I'm incredibly pleased with. I know there's more in the tank when it comes to the result itself, but the enjoyment factor was way more important for this first one. I really wanted to experience it, learn a lot, and also just enjoy it before racing it really hard next weekend and next year. All round, it was just a mind-blowing experience. I really do now understand how people want to come back and keep doing half Ironmans and even a full Ironman, which is definitely going to be on the docket in the future. I'm now incredibly excited to race again. I genuinely cannot wait for my next half Ironman next weekend, even though every single bit of my body aches this morning. So if you want to see how I do next weekend at Outlaw X in Nottinghamshire, another middle distance race, then hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button as well. Before I finish this video, I want to say a massive thank you to all of the volunteers and the marshals at Ironman Weymouth. They were absolutely incredible. I've never experienced such support and just the incredible level of organisation that came from that race, and I was really blown away just by how amazing everyone was, especially all those volunteers on the aid stations, passing things to us, giving us encouragement. They really made the day even more special than it otherwise would be. And as always, a massive thank you goes to Danny. She got up early with me, hung it out in the freezing cold by herself just to watch me compete, and then also looked after me after I finished, because I was in a pretty tired and run down state after that. So thank you so much, Danny. I really couldn't have done it without you. But that's it for this video. Like I said, hit that subscribe button if you want to see how I do in the future. Like this video and share it with another triathlete friend. And I'll see you all in the next video.